Where's my D20?
Gobbo!
Hello and welcome to Hobb's Horror Stories. I am Hob, your hobgoblin narrator, back this week to provide more great TTRPG horror stories for you. This week's story is about a DM who punishes his players for doing the right thing. Do I have that right? Yeah. Alright, well, let's get into this story. This week's story comes from Reddit on r/rpg horror stories. This story was written by Satisfaction Silly 465, and the title of today's story is DM Takes Away My Paladin's Powers Because I Stopped a Rape.
Oh, yeah, don't talk to that person. Like, ever again, please.
I usually play with friends, but we all moved across the country after graduating, and I still wanted to play D&D in person, so I joined a local group. Campaign was on the dark and gritty side of things, but it was mostly fun at first. Unfortunately, it didn't last. I was playing an Oath of Devotion paladin, fairly straight-laced, very much so a traditional lawful good type character. The party had just arrived in a border town and was waiting for a courier when my paladin sees a thug dragging a young elf girl into an alleyway. Obviously, I decided to follow him. The DM proceeded to describe the thug forcing the girl against the wall and tearing at her clothes. I had heard enough and immediately decided to attack. One smite later and the thug is dead. The DM turns to me and smugly says that my paladin instantly feels his power dissipate, leaving him a level 4 fighter. The party was level 8 at this time. His justification was that the country we had entered was really racist towards elves, so they had no legal rights at all, so the rapist wasn't committing any crimes. So my paladin just murdered a guy and was thus no longer lawful. I protest that A, a lawful good character doesn't mean blindly following laws, and B, that's not how paladin oaths work anyway.
Yes, this. You're right, and people need to stop pretending otherwise.
But the DM wouldn't budge,
That's so painful.
so I decided to just leave that table.
Good. That guy's a lunatic.
OP, you are 100% right in standing up and leaving, and you are 100% right in that is not what lawful good means.
That's what I'm saying.
The alignments have a lot of confusing factors to them, and that is why, for our next Gobbo's Guides, we will be going over the alignments.
And because people like that DM are my biggest pet peeve and I hate them.
I agree with the Goblin, but we are doing this to help clear confusion surrounding the alignments and to help people get a better grasp on the whole chart. Well, that about wraps up the first story. But I have another story for you here today. This next story comes from Reddit as well, on r/D&D horror stories. This story is about a DM who is really into muscle mommies. This story was written by Devil's Taint Zero, and the title of this story is DM Pushes His Muscle Mommy Fetish on Us. This happened a while ago, and everyone who is still around still jokes about it from time to time. When we really didn't know much about D&D, we had a DM who had a pretty simple campaign. All of our characters had villains that had banded together to destroy the world by releasing a plague-like creature. However, that is not what this post is about. I first noticed it when we visited a tavern of a town we suspected of having the next target for the attack. We were spending time in a tavern, one of the party members was approached by a tiefling, and the DM went into great detail about describing her large features and strapping body.
Off to a great start already.
The player showed no interest and continued on. We then met a princess who was known for being the barbaric type.
So what, like drinking from the skulls of her enemies? I mean, I can get behind that. That's a very goblin thing to do.
And after we shared a battlefield, she showed interest in the same player's character again, to which he denied her.
Someone here can't take a hint.
For the next couple of sessions, nothing really happened until we met a druid wanderer, who took interest in another player.
Oh no, I think I can see where this is going.
She was a Goliath who was also very muscular. Although no romantic mind was paid to her, she snuck into one of the players' tents.
No.
Everyone at the table was pretty confused. The player had some trust issues, so while she was trying to harass him,
Stop it.
he put a knife to her neck and demanded to know who she really was.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the smart play. This guy would definitely survive a slasher film.
The DM started to laugh and explained that she was just a woman interested in him.
Yeah, like a giant stranger out in the middle of the woods. Nothing suspicious about that.
We all got weirded out by this, but we moved on. This kept happening in the party, and at one point it was mentioned to him outside. He denied that being the case, but got drunk with us about a year after when the game had ended, and admitted to us that we were right, and it's just what he was into. Yeah, so I don't really have anything to say about that story. Just don't do that. Don't force your kinks on the players at your table.
Who does that?
Yeah. All right. So you all have a nice day. Let's wrap up today's video. I hope you enjoyed today's story. If you have any stories you would like to have read here on the channel, please share them to the email in the description below. Also, if you could please like, comment, and subscribe, it would help us greatly to slay the monster known as the algorithm. Also, if you're looking for more great horror stories like these, please click the link at the end of this video. Thank you from all of us here at Goblins and Gremlins.